Good morning, welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Friday, TGIF, April the 10th, and we're here to look at the rest of the cozy mysteries that were published this week. We started on Monday. There are several more, so we will take a look. Hope you're having a good morning, or day if you're watching it later. Bobby says good morning. Good morning. All right, a quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Friday night. Our next sprints are tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m., Saturday at 3 p.m., and that one goes for 5 hours. More of a marathon. Let's leap in. I think we finished on glamping and gunshots. None of this other stuff kind of looks familiar. Did we do this one? Let's see if it sounds familiar. I think this is where we were. The Museum of Unusual Occurrence, Psychic City Mystery Series by Erica Wright. Rational and cynical Allie Orlean's life in her psychic, I have a sneeze coming. In her psychic hometown of Wendell, Florida, couldn't be more hectic. It's all about running her business, raising a teenage sister, sending out holiday greetings, and her new task, finding a killer. For her Museum of Unusual Occurrence not only houses odd curiosities, but now has a brand new display. The body of Rose Dempsey, a local 20-year-old, set up in one of the exhibits as if she had been ritually sacrificed. With the police clueless, Allie is worried that this is a vicious warning for her and her solitary way of life. Really? Fearing for her sister Merope's well-being, she's determined to find out why the killer murdered Rose and how her body was placed in Allie's museum. But might the killer be someone hiding in plain sight? Good morning, Mary. She says, good morning, PK, Bobby, and everyone. Happy Friday. Sunny and pretty here in Virginia this morning. Nice blue skies. Very nice. And Bobby says, bless you. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're supposed to be in the 70s today, I believe. And it's also Splashdown Day for Artemis 2. I'm wearing my astronaut earrings. And Mary, I checked in with our about-to-be mama friend yesterday afternoon, and she was being induced but hadn't had much progress. But that was yesterday afternoon. I've not heard anything since and haven't wanted to bother her from that point on. Death at the Sea Glass Festival by Edith Ellis, third in the Haunted Echo Point Cozy Mysteries. Echo Point's annual Sea Glass Festival is meant to celebrate beauty shaped by time, treasures polished smooth by waves and patience, but when a well-known vendor is found dead among the shimmering glass displays, the celebration fractures into shock and whispers. Bookstore owner Luna Brooke is drawn in immediately. The scene feels wrong, too deliberate, and when a cold presence brushes past her and a ghostly warning stirs the air, Luna knows this wasn't an accident washed in the tide. Suspicion settles on familiar faces, a rival artist with a public feud and a private motive, a former partner desperate to reclaim what was lost, and a gallery owner whose polished smiles hides mounting pressure. As Luna digs deeper, the sea gives up more than glass. Old thefts resurface, long-buried resentments crack open, and an artifact tied to Echo Point's past begins to stir with dangerous intent. Dun dun dun. That's a pretty cover. Close Call by Isabella Bassett, first in the Golden Age Telephone Gossips Mysteries. The English Countryside, 1927. When Mrs. Carruthers fails to arrive for afternoon tea, Lady Upton's relief is short-lived. The tardy guest is found dead on the estate. Soon rumors about Mrs. Carruthers' recent voyage to Egypt begin to spread, along with whispers of an ancient legend. And with the local police casting a suspicious eye toward Lord Upton, a keen Egyptologist, scandal threatens to shatter Lady Upton's otherwise untroubled life. Now determined to save her blustering husband from talking himself into further trouble, Lady Upton enlists the help of her village friends to solve this puzzling mystery. With a teacup in one hand and the telephone receiver in the other, the women sift through village gossip, untangling a web of secrets rivals rivalries and carefully concealed motives. But the more Lady Upton learns, the clearer it becomes that behind the talk of ancient Egyptian curses lies something far more dangerous: human greed. End of that row. A Bookish Twist by Anthea Fraser. 6 in the Chiltern Hills Mysteries. Meet Rona Parrish, a feisty biographer with a talent for digging up murder and mystery wherever she goes, and Gus, the adorable golden retriever trotting loyally at her heels. Rona thinks she can read her new neighbors like a book, but there's a shocking twist in their tale, and even Rona won't see it coming. Barbara and Keith Franks, the frosty pensioners next door, are not ones for chit-chat. When Rona meets them at the garden gate, their manners leave a lot to be desired. They don't even bother to introduce their grown-up daughter Louise, a pale and nervy waif who never ventures out because of her health, poor thing, until Louise chases after Rona and Gus on a walk one day to beg for Rona's help. Louise has lost all her memories in a terrible car crash. She's desperate to reclaim her past, but with no family photos or records to go on, in a stroke of bad luck, they were all lost in a mysterious fire. She's beginning to doubt everything her parents have ever told her, if they even are her parents. Ray says, thanks for the update. Maybe today. Sure hope so, for everyone's sake. Indeed. And if you noticed the prediction that I gave you back in March, I said the 10th. Dead Men Don't Conduct by C.C. Trace. 7th in the Carolina Teal Cozy Mysteries. When Carolina Teal discovers a hidden trunk in the attic of Blueberry Hill Inn, she expects dust, not a silver baton, a centuries-old musical score, and enough gossip to rattle the teacups. But when musicologist Kingston Harrison examines the music and ends up dead, Carolina's charming spring retreat hits a very sour note. Now the suspects are stacking up faster than Angela's lobster chowder orders. There's Georgia, the prickly scholar with sharp opinions, Margot, the glamorous financier who loves control, and Holiday, the talented violinist with a deeply personal tie to the mesmerizing antique score. Carolina, Angela, Goldie, and Ranger Jack must find the truth before an innocent guest takes the blame for this deadly arrangement. It does say this series stands alone. Each book stands alone, if you want. Petals and Peril by Paula Lester. 4th in the Holiday Hollow Mysteries. Courier Hollis Maribel has delivered enchanted bouquets, weaponized chrysanthemums, I hate those, and one memorable singing topiary. But when celebrated perfumer Prentice Galloway turns up dead inside his own greenhouse, killed by a forbidden curse that turned him into a garden from inside out, Hollis finds herself, okay, that's in my brain now, investigating a murder that's literally poisoning the district. With the annual Bloom Gala days away in the magical blight turning joy flowers into anxiety factories, emotion trails into public broadcasts, and crinkles hoof bells into mortifying emotional megaphones. Those were just words, I don't know. Hollis must untangle a web of family grudges, stolen formulas, and botanical secrets before the corruption becomes permanent. 5 suspects, 1 sarcastic reindeer, and a killer hiding behind the prettiest facade in Holiday Hollow. The Fatal Flotilla at Sea Oats Beach by Karen C. Whalen, 3rd in the Sea Oats Beach Mysteries series. The dazzling lights of the Christmas flotilla shimmer across Sea Oats Beach, transforming the December night into a twinkling wonderland. But for Brianna Hart, the brilliance dims when she discovers a gunshot fatality on an abandoned boat. The victim, known for his generosity in the animal welfare community, seems an unlikely target, making the suspicion cast upon one of Bree's own neighbors all the more perplexing. Driven by a connection to the victim's love for animals and her own pursuit of truth, Bree begins a fact-finding mission. As an animal shelter volunteer, she sees a chance not only to solve the case, but also to help a bloodhound named Tracker. If he can pick up overlooked clues, Bree hopes the police will train him as a canine detection dog and give him the forever home he deserves. As Christmas Day approaches, Bree's holiday plans compete with her investigation. Every question she asks edges her closer to a vicious killer who is definitely not feeling the holiday vibe. End of that road. Silhouette of Suspicion by Erica J. Welton, 4th in the Royal Griffin Hotel Mysteries. They gave me a Lifetime Achievement Award on Sunday night. By Monday morning, I was investigating a murder. I am Dora Lee Griffin, 78 years old, retired fashion designer and resident of the penthouse at the Royal Griffin Hotel. I've seen a great deal in my years in this industry. Most of it I have kept to myself. That, as it turns out, was a mistake. The night of the award ceremony, I made a dress for a young journalist named Daphne Holbrook. She was sharp and brave and asking all the right questions about a pattern of deaths that had been circling the fashion world. She was also, as I know all too well, getting too close to the truth. By morning, she was gone. The police called it a mugging. I called it what it was. Daphne was not robbed. She was silenced, and the one who made her dress has a very good idea who gave the order, though proof is a different matter entirely from knowing. Lives in the Lefse by George Robstad, 2nd in the Cash Christensen Mysteries. Cash Christensen, newly back on the island to honor his late aunt, has settled into the comfort of early mornings and the steady rhythm of a bakery that's beginning to feel like his own. For a moment, it seems as though the island might stay peaceful. But when a shocking discovery jeopardizes a friend's business, Cash is compelled to get involved. Small things feel slightly off. Old stories resurface in half-spoken hints. And Cash has the uneasy sense that meaning is hiding just beyond his grasp. A quiet anticipation threads through the town, as if the island itself knows a secret it isn't ready to share. Relying on his recently uncovered knack for investigation, one book, and a determination to help his friend, Cash begins to notice details others overlook. Odd patterns, quiet contradictions, and pieces that don't sit comfortably together. What he uncovers isn't danger in the loud sense, but something quieter, older, and threaded through the island in ways he never imagined. But what does it have to do with Lefse? Asked the girl who is half Norwegian heritage. Troubled Tales by Stacey Haynes, 17th in the Mystery on Lilac Lane. Another pretty cover. Veterinarian Dr. Lila Hart thought her biggest challenge this week would be convincing a basset hound to take its medication without dropping it down her shirt again. Then a muddy, wide-eyed stray cat limps onto her porch. On the same morning, a journalist is found dead by the river. Now Lila's clinic suddenly has more drama than a waiting room full of unneutered tomcats. Her only leads a traumatized cat who acts like he's witnessed a full-on crime scene, and Captain Peppers, the town's resident gossip parrot, who keeps blabbing, "He knew about the tunnels." With Milo, the stray, acting like a four-pod GPS to trouble, Lila follows the trails, paw prints, mud samples, and suspicious human behavior straight into Wisteria's hidden tunnels. Oh, this next one says page not found. So it is apparently not available anymore. That's too bad. That was a pretty cover. Bang Bang, He Shot Her Down. 4th in the Headrock Harbor Mysteries by Chase Connor. It's not fair that now Jackson and Jeremy are beginning to admit and express their feelings for each other, that duty calls for both of them. Jackson is busy with Headrock Harbor books as well as the new coffee bar and his new employee, Angel. Jeremy is helping the Headrock Harbor Police Department recover from a public relations nightmare and might be taking on new responsibilities. Everything has been a blur in the months since Pride Week. end, and both guys are dying for a few days to simply take a breath and enjoy a little romance with each other. Fortunately for them, Jackson's car ending up with bullet holes, a fellow business owner in Headrock Harbor breaking his foot, and a few days off from the department for Jeremy make it possible for them to take a long weekend. Initially prepared for simply spending time lazing about the house, eating and romancing, the guys find that things never go as planned. The business owner with the broken foot can't attend an important event and begs Jackson and Jeremy to take his spot. Deciding that a free motel stay and tickets to see a special show put on by the regionally famous drag queen Bang Bang Baise Moi aren't that bad of a deal. The guys head off to Littleburg for a long weekend getaway. Of course, where Jackson goes, murder seems to follow. Before they know it, Jackson and Jeremy find themselves embroiled in another mystery. All right. Something Murdered, book number 3 in the Wedded Bliss mystery series by Christine Lawrence. Leah Jordan is over the moon when The Wedded Bliss is nominated for a prestigious award. She and her best friend Chelsea head to a luxury hotel for the conference of a lifetime, eager to soak up sessions, make connections, and have a little fun. But the celebration doesn't last. An old acquaintance of Leah's late aunt suddenly reappears, and before Leah can reconnect, tragedy strikes. One of the attendees is murdered, and the family friend quickly becomes the police's prime suspect. Determined to clear their name, Leah dives headfirst into the investigation. With Chelsea's quick wit, the smoldering charm of private investigator Caleb Hamilton, and attractive police detective Luke Strickland at her side, Leah must untangle rivalries, secrets, and professional jealousies before the conference ends and a killer slips away. Signed, Spelled, Delivered by Sarah Nofke, 7th in the Ella Bloom Mysteries. Ella's world turns upside down when the postmaster is found dead on her doorstep holding a letter addressed to her. He did his job, even to the last. Someone in Gloamington is using the mail to murder, and Ella Bloom might be next. With her true identity finally revealed, Ella has become a target. Her presence in Gloamington puts everyone she loves in danger. Now a killer is on the loose, and Ella and Malcolm must discover who sent the lethal message before they strike again. But as the hunt for a murderer who knows how to weaponize the mail, they face an impossible question. Is the killer the enemy Ella fears most, or someone hiding in plain sight? Can Ella and Malcolm unmask the magical murderer before the next delivery arrives, or will discovering who really sent that package cost Ella everything, including the town she's sworn to protect? Agnes Sharp and the Wedding to Die For by Leonie Swan. There's a translator listed here. Amy Bojang. So this is a work in translation, apparently. 3rd in the Miss Sharp Investigates. Spring is in the air, and Sunset Hall is abuzz with anticipation of Bernadette's upcoming wedding. But not everyone is feeling celebratory, namely her best friend Agnes Sharp, who isn't a fan of Bernadette's plan to leave the house share and its residents behind. Nevertheless, Agnes and the not-so-sprightly gang of pensioners launch into wedding planning mode after a spot opens at the high-class Foxglove Manor in just 2 weeks. The minimum number of guests to even get to the champagne fountain bubbling is 20, a tall order for a reclusive couple in their 80s. Not to mention the high likelihood that their friend groups might not be compatible. Bernadette was once a police informant, while Jack, the groom, used to make a living in organized crime. Just when they think they have the guest list squared away, a threatening note appears at the house. Agnes and the others decide to handle it themselves, not wanting to cause the betrothed stress. With some assistance from a private investigator, another person to add to the guest list, yay, Agnes digs into the case of the poisoned pen letter, determined to ensure the wedding goes off without a hitch. Aside from the bodies they've already had to hide from the bride, will Bernadette and Jack happily ride off into the sunset together, or will this be sundown for Sunset Hall for good? And that is all there is. It's too bad about that one. That was a pretty cover. Alrighty. Mary says we are supposed to hit 80 today. Wow. From 33 this morning. Yeah, that's quite a span. And yes, I remember your prediction. Looks like you will be right. Impressive. We shall see. She might have a very long labor. Elena says, hello, PK, Bobby, and Mary. Hello, how are you doing? She says, I am good. I will be reading Into the Deep by Robert D. Ballard. Nice. Mary says, hi, Elena. And Mary says, your timing is impeccable. Well, it is Friday. So I think that's a good thing. Alrighty, so next week we'll look at a whole new batch of books being published. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight, not on Friday night. Saturday afternoon is when we'll do our next sprinting. Hope you have a good day. Everybody, please be safe. Please enjoy books, because they're wonderful things. I think we can all agree. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom. Have a good day, and God bless.